Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and I saw Abigail and it was great. I wasn't really sure of what to expect with this movie. While I was interested in the film, I really liked the trailer and the premise of these wannabe criminals holding this little girl hostage, but it turns out that the little girl is a vampire. Really sold me on the movie, but I'm not a horror guy per se, so I wasn't really sure if I would gel with this movie all that much, but boy did I. I had a lot more fun with this movie than I expected to have with this. This was a great time at the movies. First off, the movie knows exactly what it is. It's a horror comedy about a little girl who is not only a ballerina, but a vampire, and they make the most out of this ridiculous concept. They have a lot of fun with the lore of vampires and the fact that this vampire, this blood-sucking demon, is a little girl, and they really have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of great moments and sequences of tension and stupidity and chaos occurring all throughout this movie, and it was honestly so much fun to watch the madness and chaos ensue as the film went on. Just seeing this little girl cause so much turmoil to these people was just so entertaining and so much fun. The film also never felt like it was two different movies all at once, in regards to like the tone, because a lot of movies have this issue, I feel, recently, where they don't know if they really want to be serious or if they want to be silly and goofy and stupid, and they have a hard time balancing those tones. But this movie actually was able to balance the tones very well. It knew just when to be intense, suspenseful, and even at times a little scary, but then again, I'm not a horror guy, so don't ask me if this movie's really scary. And it also knew when to be really funny, goofy, and insane, and they did a perfect job balancing those out, leading to a very entertaining experience. As for the story itself, while it does take some time to get things going, we'll talk about that later in the video. Once things do start getting going, it is a ton of fun. There are some big reveals and certain plot twists that actually happened that I honestly didn't see coming, and it left me questioning and wondering where the movie was gonna go, what's there left in store for this film. And as the movie goes on, you get further more invested into the story. Like I said, they have a lot of fun with the concept, sure, but the story still keeps you invested and interested in what's going on here throughout, why these people are here and what's really going on with this little girl. I also loved the characters in here. They aren't likable. These are people with sketchy backgrounds, of course, but I found them all to be very interesting and loved seeing their banter and chemistry with each other. It was all great, and the actors did an amazing job. Melissa Barrera did a great job as always. She had a great performance. This was definitely a tough role since during the filming she was fired for supporting Palestine from Scream 7, which was just absolutely stupid, and I can't imagine what that must have been like going through doing this movie. But she still pushed through. She still did a fantastic job with the role. But the two standouts for me were Dan Stevens, who is always a delight, but here is really one of, if not the best performance he's given. He did a fantastic job. I don't want to say too much, but man, did he deliver. And I want to say Alicia Weir, I hope that's how you pronounce it, as the title character, Abigail herself. She knocked it out of the park. Keep in mind, folks, this is the little girl who was in the Matilda Netflix musical a couple years ago, and now she's this demented, twisted vampire, and she did a great job. She knew how to be threatening and silly and demented all in the same package. She did a great job. I think she has a bright future ahead of herself because, man, she did a fantastic job. As a comedy, this movie succeeds. I laughed out loud and consistently throughout, whether it just be the chemistry between the leads here and them going through what's going on, to the insanity that unfolds once they realize what is really going on, and just the chaos that's ensuing. There's just a lot of great jokes, a lot of visual gags whenever Abigail is about to kill her next victim and she starts doing a little ballet dance. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny, and just a lot of the jokes from Kevin Durand or Catherine Newton was also really well done and really well performed. there's just a lot of great humor and jokes and gags here. I laughed out loud a lot. And as a horror movie, while I wouldn't say it's scary, although I don't see too many horror films, so ask somebody else for that opinion on that subject matter who's more experienced in the field than I am. But I do think it does a really good job of building suspense, and it can be really intense at certain moments. A lot of the quiet moments where like the characters are just hiding and waiting to hide out from this vampire, I thought was really well done. There's a lot of great moments that really had my heart racing and even questioning, oh my god, are the characters gonna make it out of this situation? And oh yeah, you may have heard about how bloody and gory this movie is, so much so that the directors had to literally apologize to the cast and crew for how bloody and gory the film is. And boy, were they right on that aspect. This movie is blood city. So much blood, so much gore, literally pools and rooms covered in blood. The kills in this movie are ridiculous and over the top, and once again, very bloody, very gory, and just so creative and imaginative with how they are put together, and they really delivered on that aspect. However, I don't think this movie is perfect, as I do have some problems with it. Like I said earlier, it does take a while for things to get going. I wouldn't say I was bored or uninterested, but I was definitely waiting, all right, when's the big reveal gonna happen? When are they gonna find out that this little girl is a vampire? And I think that's gonna be a turnoff for people. I do think this isn't a problem with the movie itself, more so the marketing. I get why they had to reveal in the trailers and advertising that this little girl is a vampire. They had to sell us on the movie after all. But I do feel like had we not known that, that reveal would have been so much bigger and had so much more of an impact, and everyone would have probably been going, oh my god, this is what the movie's about. But as it is, you go into the movie and you're just like waiting, all right, she's a vampire, so all right, we gotta wait for the characters to find out. So I think that could have been handled a bit better. There are some times where the pacing slows down and you start to feel the length of the movie and you go, all right, yeah, can we move this along a bit, just speed this up a bit? It never felt longer than it actually was. And again, I was never bored or thinking, oh my god, is this movie gonna end? But like it did start to slow down a bit for my taste. And I will say the ending is probably gonna perplex people. That's where it really goes off the rails and has fun with the vampire concept, and I think it's going to be a bit too much for people. For me personally, I really enjoyed it. My problem was that once again with the pacing, I just think it went on for a bit too long. But for others, I have heard complaints like I wasn't a big fan of the ending there. So that's gonna really be up to you and how you feel about the climax of the film. Once again, it does go off the rails. For me personally, I really dug it, but I can see why others may not have enjoyed it as much as I did. But again, I also think that the ending went on for a bit too long. Shorten it up a bit, and I wouldn't have really any issues with it. But otherwise, I loved Abigail, the movie, not the little girl. Don't take that the wrong way. This movie was a ton of fun. I really dug this. This was way better than I thought it would be. The story, the characters, the humor, the violence, the suspense, all of it really worked for me. I can see this being a Halloween classic for me. I think this is definitely going to be something I watch every Halloween from now on. I really dug it. If you like vampires, if you like silly, stupid horror movies like Ready or Not, then I definitely recommend checking this out. This movie was a ton of fun, way better than I thought it was, and I highly recommend it. And those were my thoughts on Abigail, the movie. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
There's a devil on my shoulder, I feel it. Burning my face with hope. There's a monster in the mirror of my spirit. We can't spend too much time alone.